Okay friends, welcome to our another lecture on adders. We in the last lecture considered most of the type of adders we have done, and we have talked about the half adder, full adder and different types of adders. Only one type of adder that was left in the last lecture that could not be covered is the serial adder. Today we talk about this adder. Now, what is actually the concept of serial adder? In the full adder that we saw, or the parallel adder that we saw last time, we saw that we have to put in four full adders and like simultaneously have to add and we get the answer. In case of serial adder, if say suppose again we have two 4-bit numbers, say x is given by x3, x2, x1 and x0, and y is given by y3, y2, y1 and y0. Alright. Now, how do we proceed in this type of adder? This adder has the basic advantage of having only one full adder. Alright. So, our circuitry is same. You will see how actually this works. Our circuitry will be same, but the disadvantage is like it requires 4 number of clock cycles. Alright, to produce the final answer. Let us see how. Say for example, we will take two registers x and y in which we will be storing our 4-bit numbers. Okay. Now this is our basic circuit. You can see there are two registers x and y that contain our respective 4-bit numbers x3, x2, x1 and x0 that are individual bits of x, and similarly y3, y2, y1 and y0 are the individual bits of y. Now how does this work actually? Now the basic working of the circuit is as like we have the full adder over here, and into the circuit we have something which is called our control circuit. Control circuit basically generates our control signals. Alright. There are two types of control signals. There are the shift pulses and there is the clock. This circuit is actually called our D flip-flop. Flip-flops we will see when we come to the sequential circuits. Only thing is that, okay, we will take here as the input. D is the input and Q is the output. Alright. Now, what is the advantage of D flip-flop? The advantage of D flip-flop is that whatever the input into the clock cycle, that will be the output. Alright. Into the next clock cycle, that is the output will remain unchanged. It will store the value coming in the input for one more clock cycle. Alright. Okay, you will just take time to draw this circuit. Done? Okay. Now the basic idea is, how does this work actually? Let us understand the working with an example. Say suppose our x is and our y is. Okay. So in the first clock cycle, these inputs are fed like this, and our y will be, this is the input carry, because it is a full adder, so it requires 3 inputs. So we have xi, yi and the carry. Okay. Now at every stage, what does it happen? Initial value of the input carry is 0. Okay. Now at the first stage, these two are added. If I draw in the tabular form, I have initially, this is the configuration of the system. Now at every stage, x0 bit from here, y0 bit from here, and the carry bit, all three will be added together. Alright. Whatever the output, that is the sum and the carry, sum will be brought again into the X register. How? Our control circuit will keep on generating the shift pulses, so that the transfer of the value and the shifting takes place simultaneously. Alright, that means in the first cycle we add this and this. Sum is 0, carry generated is 1. So this 1 goes here, that is by the last column, CO. Alright, and sum, that is 0, comes in over here. Now if we don't shift the values, then overwriting of the values will take place and our data will be lost. So our control circuit generates the shift pulses, so that in the next cycle this value goes over here, this goes over here, this goes over here. Alright. Similarly, this and this. However, in the Y register, we are at the liberty of shifting the value itself. Alright. Another modification of the circuit exists where for the sum, we actually put in a sum register also over there, wherein we don't need to shift the values into the X. We can just, similar in the Y, we can shift the values, data values itself. Alright. So what will happen? Okay, initially I will say this is the configuration, rather I will not number the clock 0, I will number this. That is, initially we have loaded the values. Now when the first clock cycle comes, addition will take place and the value will be transferred. All the things will take place simultaneously. Now we add this and this plus this. So 1 plus 1 plus 0. Sum is 0, carry is 1. So at some bit is shifted and brought into the starting of the X register and shifting takes place. So now our value becomes how we have done? This is simple. Alright. And when this adds, this is brought into the starting. So this was actually, and the sum bit was brought over here. This is how it took place. Alright. Now the C out that is generated will become seen into the next stage. So now in the next clock cycle we have this and our this will be adding up. So now the scene will be 1 over here. Bring it back again. Now we add. Scene will be 1, 0 plus 1 plus 1. So again sum will be 0, carry will be 1. Alright. Now again next stage. Now we have 3 ones adding up. This came over here. Now again this will be coming over here. So now our sum will also be 1, carry also be 1, and we will be also going to the starting of the X register. Alright. Now the 4th clock cycle. Again sum will be 1, carry will also be 1. So after the 4 clock cycles we stop, because there were 4 bits, so we have actually scanned all the 4 and we are done. Alright. So this is what we get. What happens is, so our final answer is the combination of C out and the sum. The output carry that is generated in the last stage will be stored into the D flip flop. Okay. So this is about the class of circuits that we call as adders. Let us move on further. We talk about the second class of circuits, or the combinational circuits, and that are very important. Today we talk about the concept of decoders. Decoders are those circuits that contain n input to 2 to the power n output. Alright, we'll see a particular example of this, and we have one control signal that is called chip select or chip enable. This may be working in active high configuration or may be working in active low configuration. What is active high? What is active low? That means in active high configuration, when a value 1 is given onto this signal, this will be working, then this chip will be active. In case a value 0 is given in active low, then this chip will be working, and other way around is not true. Active high means a 1 chip is working, zero means chip is not working. active low is the opposite. 0 means chip is working, and 1 means chip is not working. Alright, so let us see a particular example of the decoder. Let us talk about a basic 2x4 decoder. Now this 2x4 is actually called the size of our decoder. Alright, we have two inputs, say A and B, and we have four outputs, D0, D1, D2 and D3, and a chip select. Now writing it in this way is called the active high configuration. If we write it in this way, this is an active low. Alright, so let us see its working using the truth table. How? These are our inputs. I will show both of them over here, like it can be active high or active low. Okay. In case it is 0, 0, that is the first case, there is an active high, so throughout it has to be 1. In case it goes low, so whatever the value of our inputs, no output will be generated. We have all the four outputs as 0. Alright. We could have implemented the output also in active low configuration, but over here we have used the active high configuration. Okay. So, in case this is 0, 0, so our first output is 1, rest all are 0. Alright, now this is active low configuration, so it will be working in the reverse order. Alright, so this is how the circuit works. We can see. Now another way of writing this is, if we generate it in this form, like if say suppose this is 0, 0, that means D0 is same as A bar B bar. So that means our system is actually generating the midterms, A bar B bar, A bar B, AB bar and AB. And the last one is not defined. So what is the use of this decoder? In say suppose, for example, we are given a function like this. Say we talk about three variable functions, say F1 is AB bar plus BC. Similarly we have F2, say A, B plus say B bar C. Now I want to implement this function using the decoder. So how do we do? First of all, we talk about the first function F1, that can be written as AB bar C bar plus A B bar C plus A bar BC plus ABC. how we have done this? We have expanded in the canonical SOP that we have done in earlier classes. This is actually 100, that is 4, 1015, 0113, 1117. So that is summation M 3, 4, 5 and 7. Now we talk about F2. F2 can be written as, this is A B C bar plus ABC plus A bar B bar C plus A B bar C. This is actually summation M. This is 001. So 1. This is 1015. This is 1106 and 111, that is 7. So we have to implement this circuit using the decoders. How do we do? The working is straightforward. We have 3 inputs ABC coming in, a chip select and 8 outputs. So we have, first of all, for function F1 we have 3, 4, 5 and 7. And for F2 we have 1, 5, 6 and 7. This is how we implement the function using decoder and the external